Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Keegan. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that subscribe button and put your opinions down there in the comment section. Matty Mac, Wealthy Conscious. Matty Mac is a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist from New Jersey. His music has remained fairly underground. From what I know, not too many people know about him and his music. And I'm guessing a good majority of people who have heard his music only know him from his pretty big YouTube hit, The Proposal. Which is kind of sad when you think about it. There is so much variety to his music aside from that one song, from pop radio to full-on reggae. This is the long overdue review of his 4th studio album, which is a bit of a change-up from his last albums. Matty's last album, Dedication, which if you didn't see my review of it, go check it out. There will be a card on the top of the screen somewhere. Go check it out. Anyway, shameless plug aside, his last album was, in my opinion, a fantastic blend of fun, bouncy reggae hits and slower, more emotional ballads. This album, on the other hand, is a lot more focused on the slower songs. In fact, out of the 12 songs on this album, only one of them features that poppy, fun, bouncy style that Matty sells with undeniable charisma. In fact, while this album is slower, more downbeat than his last 3 albums, ironically, it seems to be the most cohesive and radio-friendly album Matty has released. We'll start this review off with the opening track, Back Home, which I was hoping would be fantastic with Matty's reputation of wonderful openers across all 3 albums. And thankfully, this track did not disappoint. While it's not open road levels of exciting, it's still a fitting opener because it lets you know what you're going to get from this album. It's going to be low-key, maybe a bit of acoustics here and there, and these wonderful pounding drums that are everywhere on this album. Lyrically, this song is simply about wishing they were back home, which Matty sings with this no care in the world, happy, optimistic delivery, which I can't help but smile while listening to this wonderful song. The second track is the only high-tempo, bouncy song on this album, So Right, which opens up with these trumpets which really remind me of older Matty. In fact, Matty's flow, delivery, lyric, and even lyrical structure are very reminiscent of those older albums, where he's essentially rapping about being at a party, dancing, smoking, and drinking with this girl who wants to go all the way. It's fun, it's a vibe, and I'm sure the song would be great at a party. Wanna Be Superman is extremely mellow. I like this one as well, although not as much as the other 2 songs. This song fused the tempo and tone of Back Home with the lyrical style of So Right. And it's fine, although I do enjoy the lyric, pour a smoke and light another drink. I think that's funny and clever. The instrumental change on the bridge is pretty cool, and the chorus does get on my nerves after repeated listens, but still not a skippable song in my mind. Now, Irresistible is exactly what I expected from this slower style. The tempo slows completely to a halt, almost becoming this R&B flavored song with these snaps accenting that even more. Matty's flow on the verses is so groovy and effortless that I can almost see this becoming a song for couples to slow dance to. Not to mention, the trumpets that pop up are just gorgeous, and the lyrics are exactly what you think they are about, with a little bit more focus on specific body parts and feelings. Probably one of the best songs in this album in my opinion. Too Close opens up with this gorgeous synth melody on the keyboard and irritating out-of-time drum, which does work when the full instrumental kicks in, but on the opener it just feels wrong. Almost like it was a drum test with the microphone still on. This is probably one of the less memorable songs in the album for me. Not that it's even bad, it's just overshadowed by some other songs on here. Although the chorus is repetitive and the weird build-up with every drum in the kit on the verses feels pretty overwhelming, it's still an okay song, it's just not one that stands out. Unlike Hey You, which may actually be my favorite song here, this song is just another happy moment on the album. Matty rides this deep, synth-heavy melody flawlessly, it's just so fun. Lyrically, the song is about Matty wanting this girl to text him when she breaks up with her boyfriend so they can mingle, which is a pretty fitting topic for such an instrumental. This is probably the only song on here that I can genuinely see being a success on the radio, which might be a guilty reason as to why I like it so much. It's an absolute banger. If I Was Your Man is this very soothing acoustic song that is also probably one of my favorites on this album. Lyrically, it's just aspiring to be this girl's man and knowing that they could take on anything. But what saves this song is Matty himself. His soothing delivery makes this song almost feel motivational and kind of relatable in a way. I really don't see any flaws with this one song, it's just fantastic. I highly recommend checking this song out. Castle is the closest thing we get to a ballad on this album, and I don't think there could be a more fitting song to fill that role. I absolutely love the build-up on the latter half of this song with this lovely piano and the almost anthemic drums. Lyrically, it's just simply about this girl who was made fit for a king, and he's got this castle waiting for her. Similar to If I Was Your Man, but also slightly different, this one's another fantastic song. Lullaby is exactly what you think it's about. It's meant to be a lullaby. Not for a baby, but for a significant lover. In all honesty, I can absolutely see this working. The song has these relaxing synths and fairly quiet drums and acoustic guitar. It just really sounds like a one-man lullaby. Matty's voice absolutely makes this song work. It's less charismatic, but more relaxing, so it's an effective trade-off. I don't know what else to say, except check this song out as well. Perfect Fit is probably this album's version of filler, and is easily the least memorable song from this album. And in all honesty, it's not even a bad song. It just did not stand out to me in any way. But even without it being forgettable, it is still probably the worst song on this album. Still not necessarily bad, but it's just the lowest point. First off, the instrumental really doesn't change throughout the entire song. It's very one note. And even Matty himself sounds a bit more tired on this song than on the others. And lyrically, it's still just about the same old stuff. You've heard this before on this album. This one's just not for me. My Loving Wife is the sequel to Matty's big hit The Proposal, starting with the final line from the song, and even has a music video with the same couple in it. My main problem with this song is that it's a little bit short for my liking. I feel a song like this needs to have a little bit more substance to portray a message like this. Regardless, the guitar is nice, Matty's vocals are expressive, and the tone is properly set. Everything lines up for this to be a nice song, and it doesn't disappoint, and this one's also pretty good. And finally, One and Only, the closer, it's almost a ballad. It has the same sound as one, but the tempo is just a little bit more. This song also almost feels like a sequel to The Proposal, and I think it would have been better suited as that. It's got a lot more substance, and it feels way more like a tribute song to their One and Only. Even with that, it's still a fitting closer, and a beautiful song regardless. Overall, this album shows Matty evolving as a songwriter and musician. He's trying out a few new styles, but not deviating so far from the norm it doesn't feel comfortable. My only real complaint with this album as a whole, it's just a little bit one note. Even to the point where some songs just mold in with the rest of them, leaving some songs seeming underwhelming or even forgotten entirely. But besides all that, this is a very welcome and fairly enjoyable addition to Matty's discography, and I can't wait for any new music in the future. I'm feeling about an 8 out of 10 on this album. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.